for those of you who don't know me, I am Rachel Mitchell, and I am a Diamond Beachbody coach. I've been a coach since May of 2014, and I live in Northeast Mississippi, which is pretty far. I'm the southern coach here, and I have a few personally sponsored coaches in this group, but I'm just going to let Melissa and Christina introduce themselves too before we really jump into this, because we are leading it together. We have all known each other, I guess, probably since we started coaching, really, and we have gotten to be really good friends. We finally got to meet each other this summer at Summit and hug each other's neck and just kind of really get to know each other better. But we are so privileged and honored to be here and leading this group for you guys and just sharing what has worked for us and really helping you guys meet your goals. So Melissa, you want to go ahead?
Sure. Hi, I'm Melissa. I think Rachel and I actually started in the same month. I signed up last August, and I am a one-star Diamond coach now. I'm also a teacher, so I'm a high school history teacher. I've got 3 kids, so I'm kind of all about figuring out ways to make this business work while juggling a whole bunch of other things. And I think that's kind of one of the cool things about this, groups like this, and kind of the connections we've made is, you know, I can bounce ideas off of Rachel, like, how are you doing this? And like, see how Christina's kind of managing, and there's just, we've met some really cool people. And the nice thing is I feel like you can do this gig with a whole bunch of coming at it from a million different places, and we all bring something to the table. So especially in kind of groups like this, I find it's really helpful when everybody is like really involved and you kind of get a sense of like, oh, here's my expertise, here's what I offer to the table, and the voice that you bring is kind of just, I don't know, it's like great exposure. So beyond us like being on 3 different coasts or 3 different areas, we all kind of come at it with different levels of job experience, life experience. And so it's a great way to kind of expose yourself to other people. And that's frankly what we're going to get with our challengers too in groups. So it's kind of a nice preview of that. So, yeah. Christina, you want to?
Okay. Yeah, my name is Christina Dieter, and I have a couple of coaches in here as well. I'm really excited about just this group and getting to know everybody. And I guess what comes to mind and what I love about coaching and about these groups is that you really truly become the person that you surround yourself with. And through these groups, you know, we surround ourselves with positive people who enjoy helping others, who just want to better themselves. And that's the friendship that I found through Rachel and Melissa and just other coaches through these groups. I think we've all been coaching for about close to the same time. And it's just been fun. It's been really fun. Like Melissa said, we get to share ideas with each other. We get to share our struggles, our victories, and they've been there through both of those. They've both struggled. We all have, and we've all had great times where things have gone well. So we bounce ideas off of each other. And I just want to encourage you guys through this group to ask questions, bounce ideas off. If you're having just a really great time and doing really well, share that, because we get excited with you. And if you're struggling, then share that too and ask questions. And yeah, we're really excited to just get you started on the right path, the right foot. And we have all different experiences, so we all have something to bring to the table, and we're excited to get started. I guess I left out, I don't know if you guys saw one of my little guys, or I guess you will on the video, came in. It's only about 6 o'clock here. So I have 4 kids, 2 girls, 2 boys. My littlest ones are only about 14, 15 months apart. And so they're like twins, and it's really busy, but we're all busy. And so we just want to encourage you. Being busy is not going to mean that you're not successful as a coach. It means that you're going to get really good at time management. So I just want to encourage you in that and welcome you to the group.
Okay, guys. So I'm going to share my screen and we are going to get started. Let me figure out what I'm sharing here. And if you're on the phone and you can't see this, that's okay. You know, with some of my coaches, I have gone over most of this, but we kind of wanted to just take you guys through the basics tonight. And let me make sure everybody's muted so you can hear me. But we just want to take you guys through the basics and kind of give you a jumping off point to get started with coaching. So obviously in our Coach Basics group, we are going to share with you guys something every day. And it's either going to be myself, Christina, or Melissa posting. So when you see a post from us, you know that it's some information to help you, to guide you, maybe an action step. And that's where we want you guys to check in every single day. We want you guys to show up. This is how we got started as brand new coaches. Our coach ran a Coach Basics training group. I mean, I think I went through like 2 or 3 of them before I advanced to anything else. But this is really just the absolute basics of coaching, and we can take it as quickly or as slowly as you want us to. You know, if you are a go-getter and you want to jump to diamond in the next 30 days, you know, we can help you do that. If you want to, you know, take it slowly like all 3 of us kind of did, we can do it at that pace too. But we really want you guys to participate in the group, to, you know, to interact with one another, to encourage one another, like Melissa said, or Christina said, I can't remember, to share, you know, what you're struggling with and when you have successes, because that's what we're doing in this group, is just building each other up and just pumping you guys full of good information to help you be successful. So first of all, I wanted to take you kind of through your online office and go over just some of the basics there and some really good tools that you have. First of all, if you can see this, this is my Coach Online office, and it shows on this homepage your Coach ID, what your rank is. This is where you will go to see if you have new customers, new coaches, if you have email. So this is just kind of like your home page for your coaching business. But what I really wanted to show you guys is the training part of it. The Coach Online office is where you can pretty much find anything. And so you guys are brand new coaches, and there is a place you can go to getting started and then to coach. But let's see, I'm just going to go ahead and jump to coach because there's more information there. The Do This tab just basically breaks down what you should be doing as a brand new coach. You know, you should be inviting people to your challenge groups. You should be connecting with people on social media, shooting for Success Club 5, drinking your Shakeology and working out and sharing that with people, you know, doing your personal development at least 10 minutes a day. There's a link for the National Wake Up Calls. You know, Carl Deichler did an awesome one yesterday on just getting prepared to be successful for 2016. Because I don't know if you guys really realize it, but you are starting really coaching at just the right time. If you stick with this and you, baby, what? No, not right now. Okay, shut the door. Okay. If you do these things, if you do the 3 vital behaviors and you stick with this through October, November, and December, when January hits and that week after Christmas, like, you guys are going to be golden, and you are going to be the people that, you know, that people who are ready to get healthy turn to. Just a second, guys. What?
Can you come say this after your call?
Maybe. Okay. Shut my door. Okay. But this is where, like, and he did a good call on that yesterday. And if you skip through, honestly, about the first 15 minutes of these National Wake Up Calls, it's rank advancements and things like that. There are some really good trainings for new coaches, for coaches that have been in this for a year, but there's the link to that. And then also we wanted to show you guys let's see, what was it? The business activity tracker, which is what we use and we encourage you guys to use to keep up with your vital behaviors. You know, your posting, your personal development, your social media, adding new contacts, things like that. We did this as new coaches, and it really helps you to kind of figure out what you should be doing on a daily basis and seeing how consistent you are with that. Because I can promise you that when you track these 3 vital behaviors, it's going to help you get an idea of how successful you can be, as opposed to whenever you kind of slack off and don't do it. You'll see it in your business. But there, and I posted a copy of that in our file section of the group as well. And so that's one thing that we really want to encourage you guys to do as part of this group, is obviously to ask questions, to be present in the page, but to track and to keep up with what you're doing as a coach, and share that with us. Share what personal development that you're reading. The Compound Effect is what I definitely suggest for new coaches. It's what I started with. It's just like 5 or 10 minutes of reading personal development a day. It gives you ideas for what to post about if you're lacking like motivational quotes to post in your morning or afternoon workout posts, or it's just encouragement to keep you on track. To keep you going whenever you kind of want to slack off or to pull back, or whatever it is. But the Compound Effect is a really good book just to teach you the value of consistency and building momentum in your business. Because like I said, if you build that momentum now, when the week after Christmas hits, or January 1st, and everybody wants to find a workout program, figure out how to lose weight, they're going to think, oh, Rachel has stayed on track. She's been doing her workouts every day. She didn't like just become a glutton during the Christmas holidays. Maybe she could help me get started. And it's the same thing for you guys. So that consistency and that momentum that you can find and develop through personal development is going to be huge, and it's gonna pay off. But I did want to show you guys too. I put a couple things in the Coach Basics group in the file section to really help you as you get started, because hopefully by now you have made your coaching announcement, or you are planning to. I can't close that. But there are challenge group guides here for when you get ready to run your own challenge group. There's this what to say when someone asks for more information about your challenge group. And I may let Melissa or Christina talk about that a little bit more, because they may talk about inviting. But we're gonna share some really good resources in this group for you, so you won't ever be without information. And if you are, just ask in the group, because that's what we are here for. Between the three of us, somebody can probably get back to you pretty quickly if you have a question about a conversation, or how to respond to somebody else. So that I wanted to show you where Coach Online Office was, and where some of the resources are that we have in this group. And so I guess I'm going to let Melissa or Christina go next. Let's see. Hold on, guys. Let me stop sharing my screen. There we go. Melissa?
About inviting?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I guess in terms of inviting, the thing I found, at least in my first month, is like the idea of individually messaging people seemed a little bit scary. And I think one of the things we talked a little bit about was at least going through your kind of contacts list, whatever that looks like, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, friends at work, family, and just kind of starting with like here's all the people who I think might be potential customers at some point, people who might be interested in a group, people who've asked me about what I'm doing. Or just people who you think are like kind of fitness minded, or once were athletes. Like for me, I was a rower in college and high school. So like a lot of my first customers were people who were new moms like me, who were former athletes, who were struggling with that kind of, how do I get my body back to where I want it to be? And so I kind of started with that as a rough list. And then that first month, what I did is really just looked at who do I trust the most on this list, who feels the safest to me. And I went there first. And so I went to kind of the moms that I talk to most often. So my kids' best friends' parents. I talked to like my best girlfriends from college, and started with them and just said, you guys have all been, like, because at that point they'd all kind of been watching me, and they'd seen that I'd gotten back in shape. They'd watched me go through challenge groups. And I went to them and said, I'm signing up as a coach. I'd made my announcement, but even before I did that, I said, I'm signing up as a coach. I want to run my own groups like I've been doing. Would you consider joining it with me? And so it was really less threatening for me to do, because I picked my people carefully. and went to like practiced my shtick on the people who I trusted and who trusted me and knew that I was coming at it from a place of a good heart. Because I think that's the piece that feels the most scary at first is inviting, is you don't want to seem salesy. And that was really why I hesitated for a while on signing up as a coach, because I'm a teacher. I'm not a salesperson. And I didn't want to feel slimy. I didn't want my friends to think I was trying to make money off of them. And so when I started, it was much easier for me to say, go to the people who would never think that of me first, and go to those people and say, I really want to do this thing. I think it'd be great. Would you take it? So part of it was I was offering them help, but they were also, I put them in a position where they were helping me. Like, take a chance on me and practice this with me so that I can get better at this thing. And I really want to do it because it's been such a great tool for me to get in shape and to get support and accountability that I so needed. I'd love to do that for you. And so it was kind of like a give and take. And that's really how I framed it, was like, would you please help me out? And I'm trying my best to help you. And so honestly, that first month, that was kind of the key for me, was going to those people first and talking it up with them. And they were the ones that jumped in. And then what I found is in month 2, then it was easier to say, okay, now I feel I have a little more confidence. I've practiced this. I have some scripts. And what I would suggest doing is, we will post invite scripts to you, or conversation kind of starters that you could do with your friends. Make them your own. And then start a Google Doc. So if you're not or like a Word or whatever it is that is your place, what I found pretty quickly, and this is so true, is it's good to have a script, especially if you're busy. It saves you a ton of time, and you're going to find that you type the same thing over and over and over again. And then you tweak it a little to fit the person, but like the basis of it is relatively similar. And so it got easier, and I kind of fine-tuned it each time and made it a little more authentic to the person I was talking to. But then it was not me sitting at the computer frozen trying to figure out, what am I saying? And so it got a little easier to do. And then definitely, like, in terms of people, like if you're talking to somebody and they're like, I'm not in that place right now, or like, it's a good friend and they're hurt, or they're like, I'm recovering from an injury, or this month's not the right month. Don't feel like it's putting them out to ask for referrals, to say to them, I'm doing this thing. I know you want to help me, but maybe it's now not the right time. Do you have any friends that you think might be interested? It's very like, and it's another easy way to kind of, with the people that you trust and who trust you, to ask for those referrals. So in terms of kind of ideas for now, where you need to start. So you need to be inviting to something. What that something is kind of something you should check in with whomever your coach is, whoever your upline is, because we are all running groups. We're all running kind of free groups like this month or next month. We also have kind of whatever our kind of challenge group is. So for me, I'm starting a couples challenge next week. So we're doing kind of a partners challenge. Bring whoever your partner is, be it your mom, your best friend, your spouse, whomever. But the whole idea being, you do better with support. And I'm going to give you the support of me, your coach, and you're also going to get this added support of this person who's already in your life in some way. And so together we're going to like tag team to make sure everybody is on track. And so that's kind of what I'm inviting to right now. And so I always kind of have a plan of like, what am I inviting people to? What can I talk up? And so I think all 3 of us, as well as Alex, are going to be inviting to different groups this month. So checking in with your sponsor coach and figuring out what's the pitch, because every one of our groups has some sort of like angle to it. And each month we kind of switch it up. What should I be inviting to? And then really at this point, like all you need to worry about is inviting people and getting them signed on. And we will walk you through that, but then we will actually run the groups for you this month, and certainly for however long you really need us to. And so that's really the goal, is to make that piece really easy. So you only really need to learn one piece at a time. And at this point, really the learning one thing is how to start putting it out there in front of people and asking them to join you.
Yeah. And if you, if you haven't posted your coach announcement yet, that's obviously one of the first things that we want you to do. Because if you just start posting about your workout selfies and things like that, and people don't really know what you're doing, that's a good way just to let them know what you're doing, and then we encourage you to start inviting. But as you share your coaching announcement posts, would you share those in this group too? Because that might help someone else. I don't know if you guys can hear me. My thing says it's breaking up. Can you hear me?
Nope, you're good. You're good.
Okay. All right. So yeah, like I know Anna, you posted your coaching announcement tonight. So if you don't mind, would you mind just to share that in this group? Just hit share and type in the group name. And so that, because I don't know if everybody has done that yet. And I know that was probably the scariest thing that I did as a coach, was to create my post about being a coach. I had no idea how people would respond. I didn't know if people would just skip over it. I didn't know if people would care. But once I did it, it was a very freeing feeling, and I got a lot of good positive feedback from it. And it was the first step, honestly, to putting myself out there and beginning to invite. So if you haven't done that, do that tonight or tomorrow. That's a big thing. But I guess, Christina, you're up next. Let's see if I can.
Okay. And then also, if you want to share it in the group, your coach announcement, just to get feedback from us before you post it, that would make me feel better too. If it was me, I didn't do that, and I kind of wish I would have. I think it would have been easier to share it, but I just kind of shared my post and then closed the computer really quick, and I didn't go back right away. But so I just took a couple of notes that I wanted to add. One with the trainings and the calls, and there's a lot of training and information out there, which is good, but it can be very overwhelming too. So just try not to get overwhelmed. If you can only do one call a week, do this one, because you're really going to benefit the most from the smaller groups. But it took me a little while to figure out just different tricks and ways to be able to do it, to squeeze those trainings in. I like the Beachbody podcast, and I do what Rachel does, and I skip through the recognition, and then I listen to the meet the call. But I do a lot of it on my phone, which I didn't used to. I would sit, take notes, and that's great. I still stop and take notes when I need to, but a lot of it is just stuff that needs to, you just need to soak in. So different calls and things, like I will listen to them when I'm grocery shopping, driving in the car, doing dishes, laundry, just any of that. So don't get overwhelmed with the training, but it is really important. It's so good to hear from other coaches, how they're successful, what they're doing, because everybody has their own personality and their own spin on things. And you might find a coach that you just really connect with. And so I encourage you to look into that. When I first got started with coaching, I actually did a shake and share, and I don't hear a lot of people doing that, but basically what I did was I got together some of my girlfriends, some family members, and just some people close to me, and I said, this is what I'm doing. We sampled Shakeology. I think I showed a couple of videos from the Beachbody website. I did it with a girlfriend of mine, and we really just got together and we talked about what challenge groups are, what we do in those groups, what we do as coaches, how it's not a salesy thing the way other businesses can be, where they just want you to get a product and then you're, out the door, or, they might check in with you, but it's the whole package of the shakes and the nutrition and the meal planning and the exercise, the accountability. I mean, we really have the whole package, so you can feel confident in inviting people in, because it's different than some of those other companies that are out there. And I'm very not critical, but I've been looking for that thing that shows me that this is a scam, or this isn't going to work, or that Shakeology really has ingredients in it that aren't great, and I've never found it. And the more I've researched the company, the more I've listened to just different coaches and people that I respect, the more I've fallen in love with the company and what we have, and I feel like I'm able to support it. I met Carl at Carl Deichler, the CEO. I met him at a Super Saturday, and I mean, it was just amazing to hear him talk, and just from a business owner's perspective, and how people try to seek him out and try to give him, this little ingredient thing that's really cheap. It can cut down the cost. We could really make Shakeology cheaper. And when they researched the ingredients, he said one of them was basically antifreeze. He's like, we're not going to put that in our product. And that's the kind of thing that are in other products, and where I just encourage people to really research it. But in listening to him talk and getting to meet him personally, my respect just went up for him all the more. And one thing that helps me not feel salesy is the fact that anybody can return anything within 30 days. So if you don't get results, or if you just don't like the Shakeology, if it's not working for you, you can return it. I mean, I don't know if you guys would know that, but you can have the whole bag of Shakeology and then say, it's not for me, and return the empty bag. And so that makes me feel better as a coach to say, really you have nothing to lose if you're wanting to try something, if you're looking for something to get back on track, or you've struggled with fitness or nutrition. Like, there's not a lot of risk in trying it, because if we don't do our jobs to keep them accountable and keep checking in with them, then there's not really a reason why they can't just turn around and return it if it's not something that's a good fit for them. So that's always helped me, because we really do have a responsibility to make sure that they're taken care of, and that they are plugged into a group, that they get that accountability. And that's always been really encouraging for me. Another thing, I just listened to a training last night, and she was saying, everybody is into sales. And that's something that really stuck with me. Sleazy car salesmen and people who try to shove products down your throat, or those people give sales a bad name. But really, I mean, if you're a teacher, you're trying to sell people or your kids on education. You're trying to sell them on the fact that this is valuable. If you're a doctor, you're trying to sell your patients on the fact that health is worth it. If you're a mom, you're trying to teach your kids and sell them on the fact that, being obedient and making the right choices, that's going to lead you in the right way. So as far as it comes to sales, everybody is into sales. It's just a matter of having the right heart towards it and really wanting to care about that person. And once you guys get going and you have those people and those messages that come, and they always seem to come at the right time, but when you have those people that thank you for inviting them to a group, that's what's going to fuel your business. And so, you might get a no here and there, and, maybe 20 no's, but then you get that one person that really needed it, and you reached out at them at the right time, and they make it worth it. And the bottom line is we just have a ton of health issues in our country, and obesity is huge. People don't know how to take care of themselves. And so really we have a gift, and it's taking on that mindset that we're looking for those people that could use that accountability and that missing piece. I mean, I know for me, it was really hard to get to the gym. It wasn't happening at all. And so this was an amazing opportunity for me. And if it really does help just to fuel your business and stay focused. And that's why you'll hear us talk a lot in the next few weeks about your why and why you're doing this. And it's important to figure out why you want to become a coach, because that's what's going to make you successful and just keep you going when times do get tough. Kind of got off on a tangent there, but just to add on to the inviting piece, I always look at my messages before I hit send and try to put myself in their shoes. If I'm reading this, do I feel like I'm trying to be sold something, or do I feel like I'm being invited into something? And sometimes I have to rewrite it because I feel like I'm just trying to, be sold by myself. And so we really want to reach out to the person and recognize where they're at. I know when I talked in my shake and share, and excuse me, if you're interested in doing that, I'm happy to give you more information, but there's a whole guideline in your back office in the training section too. But I basically just told people that, I'm not assuming that any of you need this. You might not struggle with your nutrition or your fitness, but there's a good chance that the people that do. And like Melissa said, maybe it's not for you, but maybe you know of somebody, and you're really just asking for support and kind of letting them know what you're doing. So I don't know, do you guys have any questions, or Melissa and Rachel, do you have anything to add?
I would just say, you talked about not selling, and in our day-to-day posts, if you follow myself or Christina or Melissa, you don't see very many posts selling anything at all, really. We are just kind of telling our story. We are telling our story. And like Christina said, we are inviting people more or less to a lifestyle. Yes, our challenge groups, that we require them to buy a workout program and Shakeology, but that's because we believe in it. That's because we are proof that those products do work, which is one of the 3 vital behaviors. We've tried them. We have implemented the workout programs and clean eating, and we know that it works. We are not just trying to make a buck. We really and truly, have changed our lifestyles, and we are inviting people to do that with us. So this week, as you begin to put these things into practice, as you begin to do your workouts and drink your Shakeology and post about those things, like Christina, like she said, she looks at her messages before she sends them. Look at your post. Does it sound like you're just trying to sell somebody Shakeology, or does it sound like you are just sharing with someone about something that you believe in, something that's important to you? All of our, like I said, I would encourage you to follow other coaches. I wouldn't follow a whole lot of them because then you start to kind of get overwhelmed, but follow Carl Deichler for sure, because that man is one passionate man about what he does, like Christina said. And he also shares lots of good information about Shakeology, just about, people whose lives have been transformed. He's very, very motivational. But, this week, as you start to post about your own workouts and things, just share your story. Don't worry about sounding like a coach or selling 21-day fix extreme or anything. Just talk about what you are doing and why you are doing it. And that is going to go a long ways in inspiring people and motivating them to join you and to make a lifestyle change. That's what I had to say about that. Melissa, do you have anything?
Yeah, I agree.
No, I was going to say, I think the other piece too, and Rachel mentioned this in the beginning, is that sometimes we run these groups monthly, and sometimes they're quiet, and what I read in quiet is like a mixture of fear and struggling. And the other piece is like that this business is hard. I'm not going to deny that at all. And I was just messaging back and forth with one of our coaches that's in this group and not on the call tonight. And she's struggling. And she said, this is really hard. My husband's putting a lot of pressure on me. I need to earn now. I don't know if anyone will buy anything. And what I really want to just say is, don't get to that place where you're like, I can't do it, without talking it through with us, without talking it through with the group and sharing it. Because like, I want you to be that kid in class who, the kid that always sat there and always had the question, and they were like, I just gotta ask this. And I was never that kid. I was always the kid that was thankful that kid was in the room, because I had the question and I was too scared to ask it or too scared to throw it out there. And I think we have 1 or 2 people in here who may be those people who will throw out the question no matter what. But I would encourage you, if you're struggling with something, to put it out there. If you're like testing on an invite, or even as Christina just mentioned, like or Rachel, if you're not sure if your post is salesy or if you're like reading it and you're hemming and hawing, test it out on us first. Don't just delete it and get all crazy about it. Throw it up here, throw up a picture that you were thinking about posting and say, somebody give me some feedback. That's what I really, really like about groups like this. And Rachel had mentioned, don't follow other people, but not too many. That's another place. Like, you don't need to follow everybody, but follow a couple of people and then use us as your practice. So share with us if you have questions, either one-on-one or in the group, but really, like, I'd encourage you to use the group, because if you have that question, I guarantee you somebody else has it too. Or if you have that fear, someone else has it too. Yeah. So there's camaraderie in sharing it.
Andrea, did you have a question?
Yeah, so I keep running into I'm broke, I don't have the money, and I'm that type of person that I'm totally not a salesperson, and so I don't want to continue to feel like I'm being pushy, but I've said, okay, well, that's okay, I totally understand, when it's right for you, then please feel free to join. But on the flip side, I feel like, when do you allow people into your challenge groups without actually purchasing the Shakeology Challenge Pack? And I mean, how do you allow that to help fuel your business? Because not in a sense, but ultimately you're trying to sell the product, but you have to let the product sell itself as well. So it's just a revolving scenario there.
Okay. Melissa, you're aiding. I'll go first. So yeah, I mean, obviously the goal, is business wise, you want to get people drinking Shakeology, and you want them to continue it month to month, because that's where your volume, that's where the main source of your income comes from. But the thing is, Shakeology is pricey. I mean, there's no other way around it. If you do comparison of this, and I did a lot of research before I even purchased it myself, it got rave reviews, but the biggest con was that it's so pricey. And my coach always explained this to us. She always said, tackle it in your daily posts. Yes, you may have somebody who can't buy it now, and I am that coach that, especially in the beginning, I would let people into my challenge groups just if they had the 21-day fix. I wasn't comfortable pushing it, but I got better in my daily posts at explaining what Shakeology was. So many people see it as just like a protein shake, a $130 protein shake, and that is crazy. But I began to explain that it replaced a meal for me. I would even sometimes talk about that it was just $4 a day, $3 a day as a coach. And I got really good at explaining in my conversations what came in a challenge pack. And I can share that script with you, basically that you're getting a workout program, like 7 or 8, depending on the program, different workouts, the DVD that you get to keep, with 21-day fix, you get the meal planning guide and all the portion control containers, as well as a 30-day supply of Shakeology, and I would say you're buying 30 meals all at once. And, if I explain it that way, there are some people that definitely just won't buy it. It's too pricey. And but a lot of people, just explaining the value and what you're getting for that $140 challenge pack, $160 challenge pack. And also, if they're just still like, I really want to do this, but I can't pay that much, I will say, okay, if you just want the workout program, you can convert it to a challenge pack within 30 days. And a lot of times people will get in a challenge group and see other people talking about Shakeology and how good it tastes and how good they feel. And all those things, and they will end up converting it to a challenge pack within those 30 days, which is still the Success Club points. And also too, you're going to have people who just say no. And as you begin to, as your post, you get really good at explaining about Shakeology and talking about the value and all that stuff, you'll have people that come back around. They might save up, or they might just finally, get what they're getting in a challenge pack, but you will have people come back around. So my advice personally would just be, don't beat yourself over the head about it. Like if you really want to help them and you feel like they need the help in the challenge group, you can let them do it. But I've gotten to where I basically always require the challenge pack.
Okay.
And I would say a couple thoughts. At least when I was starting, almost everybody bought a challenge pack. I had a couple people. I sort of looked at it as my fear was if I set the bar as you don't have to do this from the start, that it would be hard to change later. Like our coach, Melanie, is like cut and dry. Like you don't get in unless you're drinking Shakeology. And that was like a little too hard line for me when I was starting out. So, one of my first challengers was a really good girlfriend who is very fitness oriented, trying to get in shape, but she is like devoted to her green shakes. Like she drinks them every day. She juices everything. And I just looked at it as I'm not going to convince her. But I think that I want to help her. She's totally committed to what I'm doing. She's taking a chance on me. And I think that she'll be my biggest champion because that's just who she is personality wise. So I looked at it as I'm not going to sell her Shakeology, but she's already healthy. She's she's bought 5 programs from me and sent me like 5 challengers over the past year. So I look at it as like I've helped her because she's at her most fit. She feels fabulous. And she is both that like my biggest cheerleader and kind of was a first supporter. So you really kind of need to figure out person to person also. If you think like, I do still get people who I feel like you're trying to take advantage of me. Like if I go in feeling like somebody's trying to hoodwink me and use me to kind of get somewhere, and if they're not being, I don't know, they're not appreciative of it, I would be less willing to kind of say to them, I have people who buy off eBay or who like they're, that kind of thing. I feel like I'm less willing to give than I am if I feel like somebody really needs my help and they want my help and their heart's in a good place. The other piece too, just to think about in terms of starting out, very often if somebody's in that place of like, I really want to try it, I just can't swing it right now. Like Rachel mentioned, the conversion piece is a factor, is an option. What I often will do is I very often, like every couple of months, I'll switch my order of Shakeology Home Direct to packets, or I'll order an extra box of the sampler. Because I feel like when people are first starting, they didn't know enough about it. I hadn't posted enough about it. So I bought those and I'd say to somebody, why don't you buy the fix, just buy the fitness piece of it. And then if you want, I could sell you a week of Shakeology package. You can give it a try. I'd give them some recipes and then I'd just be checking in with them. And it was a way, even though ultimately if they did that for a month, it costs more money. They felt better about, I'm only committing to 1 week's worth. Mm-hmm. And if they liked it, then they could always upgrade. And so it felt a little bit more accessible for people. And I have somebody who did that for 3 months for me. She never bought the bag. She bought the packets from me every single month just because it seemed like less of a commitment. But it felt good to her. And eventually she'd become a Home Direct customer.
Yeah. And that's,
so if I were,
go ahead, Andrea.
So if I were to do that, then how do you sell the packets? Like, how do you decide what you're going to charge? Do you charge based on how much you had to pay for them and then just divvy it up into each packet? Like for my sister-in-law, I mean,
like if you sell it for $4 a packet, you're covering your costs. If you sell for $5, you're making a little bit of money off of it.
Yeah, you're just not allowed to sell it for less than what they would pay for it. I learned that.
Okay, so because like for my sister-in-law, she says she always claims that she's so broke. But on the same token, I can see where she's like stressed and she looks up to me because I'm just that no filter person. And so I'll tell it like it is. And so I ended up giving her 2 scoops of my Shakeology while I was home for my daughter's baptism this weekend. So I gave her 2 scoops of it and I said, you can try it out. I know that it's expensive, but it's basically like you're spending $4 a day on a meal. So it's meal replacement. It's not adding to it. And then I cover 4 different hospitals. So one of the hospitals that I go to, I gave a couple of scoops then to this other person who is a secretary. And I mean, people just don't manage their money, or I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm judgmental, but I feel like people spend their money where they want to, not where they really need to help themselves.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that's maybe something over the course of the next week. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll sit down and just say, what am I going to post about for the next 7 days? And so taking those kind of little objections or the things that you're noticing about other people, like when I first started, it was like, what am I going to say 3 to 5 times a day? Like I can't come up with posts 3 to 5 times a day, but that's kind of giving you fodder for that. Saying, you know, like if you're next time you're drinking your Shakeology, like this is what I'm doing instead of Starbucks, you know, like posting about those little places where you've converted something that maybe would have been a little expensive. Like I went to Target and I got 15 things I didn't need. That could have been a week's worth of Shakeology. Like kind of posting about how you manage your money to make it work is something that's often like, it kind of gets in the head of that person who's making all those little purchasing excuses.
That makes sense.
One thing I always think of when I see somebody who either says to me that it's too expensive or I can't afford it, like what I translate that in my mind is I don't see the value in what you have to offer, because, you know, computers are expensive, Netflix, TV, you know, the internet, iPhones, like that stuff's expensive, but because people see the value in it, they're willing to make that expense. And, you know, when you're a newer coach, they might not see that value yet. So talking about the value, talking about how, you know, it truly is the best on the market. You're already in a position where I feel like people respect your opinion health-wise. And so, you know, talking about the nutrients that are in there and how you're really making an investment. You know, it's not a weight loss shake. It's a nutrition shake, and it does have protein, but it's not just a protein shake, and really helping other people to see the value in that. And then, you know, with the 21-day fix this month, I mean, you really get a great deal for a whole program. Comparing it to the gym membership, you know, when we're getting up on the New Year's and everybody and the holidays and everything, they're going to have gym memberships on their mind. And really, when you compare it to a gym membership, every time you hit play, the cost of that program goes down. Where every time you don't go to the gym, that cost goes up on your membership in it. And a couple of things. Well, first off, I mean, if it's your sister-in-law, that might just be a different scenario. You know, if it's somebody that's close to you that you know, it might just take a little bit of time. I mean, my sister-in-law just signed up last month, and I've been doing this for a year. So sometimes it just takes time. But it's your business. So really, you just have to go with your gut. If you're wanting to just help them see the value by giving them scoops, like I think that's totally fine, especially if it's somebody that you know that you can have a conversation with. But a couple of other tools, I know Melanie's call last night was all about free groups. And so that really helps sell people on what a challenge group is. And another thing that I will do if somebody's just, you know, they really want help but can't afford it, is that they can sign up for the Beachbody On Demand, and they can get a free 30-day trial. And so they have access to, I think it's like over $3,000 worth of programs now that they can try. And along with that, you get a lot of information. You get access to the site. There's recipes on there. Like, they're all good tools that they can have access to. So you never have to feel like you just, okay, you're not going to buy a challenge pack, I'm not going to work with you. You know, a good amount of my customers now are people who have signed up for like a free trial or have done, you know, a couple of free groups, and then they just don't want to stop. You know, the group ends and they're ready to keep going. And so really in this business, you have to have a lot of patience, because people, it just takes time. It's so much easier to go spend money on cute shoes than it is to buy a fitness program. Plus, when you're talking with your family members, I think there's a lot of them that don't want to let you down. You know, if they've struggled with their fitness, like, they don't want to sign up with you and then quit, and then, you know, have to, you know, face you at the family reunion. And so, I mean, it's just taken away some of that fear too, and more of like, hey, let's do this together, instead of like, you know, I'm just going to sell you this and see how you do. So does that help at all?
Yeah. What do you typically find as a guideline? I mean, I know everything is, you know, specific to a scenario, just like anesthesia is specific to each patient. But how do you determine, I guess, okay, I'm going to let you in this group for free this time, and then, okay, I see that you've really participated in this group. Now I'm pushing for a challenge pack. Or do you ever push that, or you just let them decide? And because I know my sister-in-law said, I saw on the site where you could join for free. And I said, you can join for free, or you can join for $2.99 a month, and then you can get the on-demand, and then you can have access to several different videos. And so that was appealing to her, but I don't feel like that would really fit her lifestyle. I feel like in order for somebody to really reap the benefit, they have to invest some sort of money, at least in a fitness program, because then they feel like they have to get their money's worth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So here's
And I oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I would, like, my personal feeling is I wouldn't let somebody into a full challenge group without purchasing anything.
Oh, no.
That would be my, like, absolute no. Just because I feel like, as you said, like, they need to show that they're willing to invest in themselves in some way, whatever that is. And that investment might be, I've subscribed to On Demand, and maybe they buy a sampler of the Shakeology or something where, like, they're trying it out, even like, because I have a lot of former college students, or college students who are really very conscious of the money right now. And so I have a lot of them that will start out with me that way. I'm going to buy a sampler pack and I'm going to try On Demand, but at least I know that, like, they're trying it and they've bought in some way to that idea of, I want to invest in my health. That feels different to me than I want to do your group with you and not do any, like, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm not going to invest anything. I'm not going to agree to change my eating habits with trying out Shakeology. That to me is free groups. And so I'll say to people like that, I do run free groups every month. Why don't you try it out? And you can see if the group thing is for you. It's not exactly the same, but you'll get a sense of how we run these groups and what the kind of support is. And if it feels good to you, then we can talk about something beyond that. Because I feel like it really, as Christina said, is coming from that place of fear, unknown, not really seeing value yet. And so that's what I kind of use my free groups for each month, is to show the skeptics that, like, my heart is good. I'm trying to help you. And these groups really can work. And so that's where I kind of turn people around in there. And sometimes they roll from month to month in free groups, and that's fine. And so I have people who are just on my free group list, and every month I get in touch with them, and every month they sign back up for a free group. And at some point, some of them become challengers and others don't.
Yeah, I would say too, like, if somebody can't buy anything or they're not willing to buy anything, I don't just say, okay, thanks, see ya. I usually say something like, well, if you want me to help you put together a meal plan for next week or something, I'm happy to do that. But I don't really go beyond that. But also, what was I going to say? Melanie said this to me one time, or to all of us probably, that, you're not going to go to your hairdresser and expect them to cut your hair and not have to pay them, right? Although we are not, like, actually charging for, like, a trainer fee or anything for what we do in challenge groups, what we do is valuable. And it goes a long way in helping people meet their goals. So don't be afraid, to say, well, this challenge group is for people who have a workout program and Shakeology or whatever. Because honestly, I kind of learned by trial and error. I did let some of those people come in who didn't have Shakeology. I never let somebody in a group who didn't purchase anything, but, and I tell people now, when, they say they can't do it. And I say, honestly, it's been my experience that my challengers do much better. They stick with the program if they invest in Shakeology. Honestly, I don't know if it's just the investment that they have made. They feel committed to it. I do believe that the product works. It gives you more energy. It definitely curbs my sweet cravings and helps me there, but my challengers just do better. If I occasionally do let someone in who has not purchased Shakeology with their program, they they rarely participate. They rarely stick with it. And I think it's probably an investment thing, but I can say that honestly to potential challengers. I know that this is going to help you stay on track. Just my experience with my challengers has proven that. But if somebody can't buy something, you are more than free to say, okay, well, even though if you can't be a part of the challenge group, I don't mind to help you figure out how to get started, or share a couple of recipes with you or something like that. Give them ideas, so you can still help them. Just you don't want to spend all your time with that person. Does that help?
Yes, thanks.
Let's see. All right. Do you guys have more questions?
I was just gonna say real quick, if I don't know if you guys are running, Rachel and Christina, if you guys are running any free groups this month.
Yeah, I have one right now.
Okay, I was gonna say that might be a place to consider, is like maybe the 3 of us or 4 of us can kind of post in the group what groups we're running, and then if anybody wants to invite people to it, it might be kind of like a easy way. Like I'm running a 7-day crockpot group next week. And so I've gotten some pretty good interest so far. So if like you wanted to start, like for people, that might be a good way if all of us are kind of starting challenge groups the last week of the month, to before that get some people in to try it out. So we can post in the group about like those options. And then if people want to share an invite to that, that might be a good place to just kind of have something to start having, those conversations and getting people trying out. So we'll post about that in the group tomorrow.
Thanks.
Okay.
So now, guys, I guess what you need to do from here this first week. I shared a document, I think, in the file section about what to do. Maybe I did that on my team page. I'll post it in here. But what to do your, first week as a coach, or what to do on a daily basis as a coach. The 3 vital behaviors clearly are the things that you need to focus on. Post-workout, being proof that the product works. That's drinking your shake, working out, doing your daily workout post. You can share a motivational quote. You can share something from personal development, whatever it is, but be present on social media, living this lifestyle, doing your workouts, eating clean. Share pictures of your food, share a motivational quote at night. Share something from your personal life that you normally would do. But being present and on social media is a big thing. Inviting, clearly, if you've done your coaching announcement, great. Now start inviting people one-on-one to your challenge group. If you need help with ideas about what to say, how to invite them, we've got you. We've got ideas for you. If you need help knowing how to respond, we have that too, and I already did post that in the group in the file section. But be proof that the product works, so that means be present on social media and sharing about that. Invite and dig into your personal development. And guys, this doesn't have to take a long time. If you don't have your personal development book, let us know. We can help you find one, or you can just start with the National Wake Up Calls. That's a really good place to start as a coach for motivation, for ideas. And those are the 3 vital behaviors that we want you guys to focus on every day. And, share in the group about that. Share how your invites went. Share what your biggest takeaway was from your personal development. And that's going to be key to getting you started right. And of course, we will be posting in the group every single day with just training, with information, with things to do. So we will start there. Do you guys, Melissa, Christina, do y'all have anything else to say? Do you guys have questions, Anna or Andrea?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right.
I'm good.
Well, thanks for showing up tonight, guys. I hope this helped, and we will talk again next Tuesday night, okay? Good night.
What time will that be next Tuesday? I know I'm a brat, but I'll be in Hawaii for education.
Same time at 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. All right. Bye, guys.
Thanks.